everybody, welcome to Garden Time with Belle. Well, it is just the first week of August, and I am out here early in the morning because it's been beautifully cool here for the last week or so. Before that, we had heat indexes in the low 100s. It was terribly hot and humid. So we had kind of a cool wave come through, but you know, it's August where I live, and so that means it's going to get hot. And I think towards the end of the week, we're going to get up, into the 90s again. But for now, it's been really a pleasure to garden. Today, we're going to go into the raised bed garden. I thought I'd just bring you along and kind of explore what's happening in the garden, what I need to attend to, what are some garden chores that need doing today. So I'm not really sure what that's going to be until we get inside there. I do know there is one thing on my to-do list in the garden, and that is I'm going to fertilize my tomato plants with some granular fertilizer. But in terms of what you can be doing in your gardens in August, really depends on when your first average frost will hit your region of the country. And for me, in my Zone 6B Mid-Missouri garden, my first average frost isn't until October 25th. So here we are in the first couple of days of August. That means I have loads and weeks of growing time left. So fertilizing my tomato plants with this granular slow release fertilizer, I think this is probably the last time I'll do it. It's early August and I probably won't fertilize again because I'm expecting to get more tomatoes until probably mid-September. And then when things start to cool down, of course, the tomato crop will dwindle down as well. But this would be a good time for me to do that. So I know for sure I'm going to do that. But I do want to show you kind of some changes, what I've been up to in the last few days. I've sowed some new seeds because I'm trying my hand this year at trying to grow a few fall crops, cool weather crops. I'm not very good at it. Those of you out there that love to maximize your garden and grow cool weather crops, please, I need your help. Leave some suggestions and some advice in the comment section below because honestly, I'm just not very good at it, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to keep trying until I get better at it. So anyhow, I think that's what we're going to do today. So I'm glad you're here. If you are new to my channel, I'm going to ask you to please like and subscribe. And then I want to thank all of you that are subscribers to my channel for supporting my little gardening channel so that I can just bring you some adventures in a home gardener. Many of you are learning just as I am. I'm learning every year as a gardener. And so this is just a passion of mine. And this is a fun way to share my adventures in gardening. So I'm going to grab the camera. We're going to get inside and take a looky-loo at what's happening in the garden today and then start making my to-do list and take care of some things that need my attention. So, okay, let's get in the garden. So before I grabbed my camera this morning, I went ahead and just popped a whole bunch of different supplies in here because I really wasn't sure what I was going to need for today. And this is what I typically do. So I'll bring my harvest basket in, of course, all the time. One of my trugs, these are great. If you don't know about these lightweight tub trugs, oh my gosh, they come in all kinds of fun colors and sizes. So that's where I throw a bunch of refuse. I've got a little harvest bucket there in case I decide I need to cut any of my flowers. So I've got that, and I've got a watering can, and of course I've got my watering wand. So I think we'll just take a little walk around, show you what's going on, and then get to some garden tasks like fertilizing my tomatoes for the last time this season. Let's take a quick look at this first bed. This is a raised bed. It's 4 by 8, and I've got some celosia, some zinnias, some marigolds, and some feverfew that's hiding out down here. Those little white flowers. Anyhow, oh my gosh, the celosia isn't as pink as I thought it was going to be, although it's starting to pink up more. Early in the summer, it seemed so pale. I have cut and cut and cut on this for bouquets. I might have some pictures I can put up on the screen of all the bouquets I've been using the celosia in. But I really wanted to show you this. These are my zinnias, and this is Alpenglow. This is a floret seed. Let me come in here really close. They are gorgeous. This is a big win, I would say, in my garden this year. I think I've fallen in love with Alpenglow. So what I wanted to tell you all about with this beautiful floret seed, the Alpenglow variety, I just got an email this morning from Floret Flower Farm. I'm on their email list, and um, she's going to be having a pre-sale on some of her seed, and the Alpenglow variety seed that she's going to be selling in September. I think, if I'm not mistaken, one packet of that seed is either $12, $15, $17. I mean, it must be highly prized, and I do love this. This is the first year I've grown Alpenglow. So, having said that, I don't want to spend $17 on seed, and I will be harvesting seed. And in fact, Erin, who is the breeder of these gorgeous varieties of flowers, that's what she's hoping. She curates just such beautiful, beautiful flowers and plants, and she encourages people like me and you to plant them, to try them, and then to harvest your own seed so you don't have to buy seed again. So I'm going to be doing that. In fact, I'll make sure I make a little video about it and bring you along. She would recommend that you leave some of the flowers on until fall and let them get super dry and crusty. She has a video on her website about how to harvest seed. But I was just watching another gardener who is a flower farmer, and she said she actually will pick zinnias fresh, and she will harvest seed from them before they're dried out. So I think I'm going to try both methods. So yeah, with seed that expensive, save your own seed, and then you won't have to buy seed for next year. That's what I'm going to do. Well, I've shown you this one a lot. This is my pepper raised bed with all of my peppers, from hot serranos to mild bell and the little lunchbox variety. It's loaded with basil and some parsleys interplanted. This, I would say, has been an amazing year for peppers. I just have way, way more peppers than I could possibly use. So maybe we'll be harvesting some of those today. But here's what I want to make sure I show everybody. So this is something that you didn't see on my July garden tour because I hadn't done it yet. So this is a raised bed that I just planted up yesterday with some cool weather crops. So I'll see if I can get under the frost cloth that I put up and take a peek in here. All right, so you can see in there, I've got some leeks, but I ended up harvesting all of the carrots, of which we've been roasting and grilling. So in its place, I have planted lots of cool weather crops. So you might be wondering, why in the world did I put that frost cloth on there? Well, that's sort of a suggestion when you are growing cool weather crops, but you're starting them in August, where I live. It's going to be very hot for another, I would say, 4 to 6 weeks. So putting up this frost cloth or shade cloth will do a couple of things. Number one, it will keep the soil cool and moist, because I'm coming out here every morning and every evening and watering this, because I just put the seed in, and it will take, oh, probably anywhere from 5 to 10 days for those seeds to germinate. So you really want to keep that seed moist, because the seed dries out, you're not going to have any veggies. So that's one of the benefits of putting this kind of shade cloth or frost cloth up. The second thing is, because spinach and lettuce love cooler temperatures, it keeps the soil cool and the plants cooler. Now, when it really cools off here, and I don't know, that'll probably be mid-September, I will definitely take that off so that it can get the full sun. But you know, I'm going to try it this year, and hopefully we'll have some delicious greens in, let's see, some of them are only 45 days. So here it is, the first part of August. So by mid-September, I should have lettuce and spinach, and probably by late September, early October, I'll have some carrots. And carrots do really well in cold weather. In fact, carrots absolutely put on a lot of extra sugars the colder the weather gets. So we're going to try that this year and see what happens. And this bed has just been stellar this year. I've got this beautiful ageratum. And again, I've been using this cut flower in so many little arrangements, and I'll try to put a picture on the screen of the ageratum. First year ever growing it. It will not be my last. Have learned some lessons. I packed these way too full. I started the seed indoors in my greenhouse, the seedlings, and I packed it a little full so that the branches were having to reach. So I think next year I'm going to space them a little bit better. And I think when I do that, it's going to give the stems more rigidity. And then, of course, in the middle, I've had this going since March. My beautiful rainbow Swiss chard. That is just so lovely. So yeah, that's what's happening in that bed. Over here, my Gomphrena. This is called Carmine. Isn't she adorable? Again, cut and come again flower. This has been pumping out flowers all summer long. Could not be happier using this in lots of sweet little arrangements. Now, just yesterday on this end of the bed, I planted cilantro. Cilantro, again, believe it or not, is a cool weather crop. It doesn't like hot weather. So I am going to do succession sowing, which means you sow some seeds here, and then I'm going to come back in 2 weeks and sow some more seeds here. So this will grow up and I can harvest, and then a couple weeks later, this will be ready for harvest. So I popped some cilantro here on the end. So let me show you what's growing in these two long, narrow beds. I grow green beans, the pole variety, right? Climbing green beans and cucumbers. I alternate every year. I swap out. I also grow sugar snap peas on this trellis, on this archway in the spring, but now it's the heat of summer, so that's what we've got going. We've got these green beans, and my germination rate wasn't the best, but you know, they're trying. I hope I'll have some green beans, maybe enough for 1 or 2 meals, but there they are. And if we swing around here, let's take a look at my cucumbers. So here are my cucumbers, and they're doing quite well. And I do believe, let's see if we got, there's one, but I feel like I saw one down here. You know, cucumbers are like zucchini. Like, you know, you come here today and it's this big. If I come back tomorrow, it might be twice the size. So you want to make sure you are harvesting them on the regular. And again, look at all the blooms. See all those flowers? That means more and more cucumbers. All right, let's take a look at my tomatoes. I'll turn the camera around here in just a minute. I would say, guys, of all the crops I grew this year, this is my biggest fail. I just have had a horrible tomato year, and a lot of people in my region are saying the same. Now, my little cherry tomatoes, you know, you can just almost completely neglect cherry tomatoes and they're going to produce, and they did fine. But I haven't gotten much of a harvest at all out of my bigger tomatoes, and it really makes me sad. I grew all of my tomatoes from seed, just like I do every year, but I really do think that the soil in this bed is super depleted because some of my other crops in these lower beds here haven't done that well this year. So let me turn the camera around and show you what I'm talking about. So if we come in here, you can see that I do have some tomatoes on the vine, but not a bumper crop at all. And I'm thinking that part of the problem this year is that when they set their flowers originally in the season, early on, we had a massive warm up. And what I know from tomato gardening all these years is that actually when your temperatures get 90 or above for several days on end, that will actually kill off all the flowers. They'll dry up and fall off. And so take a look at, you see these little flowers? So those flowers, if they're pollinated, which I don't have any problem with pollinators because you all should know, if you follow my channel, I've got a 2-acre pollinator habitat. So I don't have a problem with lots of pollinators, but I did have a problem early in the season with it getting so hot and the flowers falling off. So yeah, I'm really sad because of course tomatoes are my favorite veg. So this bed right here is devoted to my dahlias. Earlier in the year, this is where I grew garlic. I had a great crop of garlic. Got some lantana that I just popped in here not very long ago, maybe only 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it really hasn't filled in. I'm growing all new dahlia varieties this year, and I will put up on the screen a lot of the harvesting I've already done of the dahlias, and some of them have been just gorgeous. This one is Mediterranean, and it's just barely opening. I've harvested so many that there's not much to show you out here, but I'll put those pictures, like I said, on the screen so you can see the beauty. This one is Lilac Thyme, and I wanted to try purple varieties, but I will say I got these tubers from White Flower Farm this year, and the Burlesca, one that I was most excited about, it shriveled up and died. Let me move the, look at this. This is it. Like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? And when I planted it, just like everybody else, it looked great. The other one, do you see that one over there? Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, it's so sad looking. It's looking like it's trying to die. So I don't know what happened with my dahlias this year. So that's kind of the current state of affairs in my veggie, herb, and cut flower raised bed garden. What I will say is stay tuned. This is going to change a little bit. We actually have decided to swap out the wooden boxes. These are 4 foot by 8 foot, and we are going to install the Birdies raised beds. Like we installed 4 new ones, the tall ones. We're going to install the 15-inch ones, and we'll be doing that. Probably we'll wait until spring to do that, but I think doing that, we're going to rejuvenate the soil. We're going to add a lot of really high quality raised bed mix and compost. So I think it's going to really help refresh the soil. And also it's going to be deeper soil. These beds are about maybe 12 inches, maybe a foot deep. And of course they've settled a little bit. So, you know, the 15-inch beds, it doesn't sound like that much, but when you can have 2 or 3 more inches in the raised beds, I think it's going to help my plants next year. So anyhow, all right. So we've sort of done our tour. I think I'm just going to set up the camera on a tripod, and I'm going to get to fertilizing my tomato plants for the last time this year. So again, just pull your mulch back, and in my case, I love using, in my raised bed garden on my veggies, I love using this shredded straw mulch. It's organic, it'll work back into the soil. I'm going to take a handful of the tomato tone, stick that down in there, and then you just want to scratch it in, you know, just a little bit so that when you water it, it will start to break down and into the soil and feed your plant. So yeah, so I'm just going to do that on all 8 of my tomato plants, and then we'll come back, we'll water them in, we'll cover them with the mulch, and they should be fed for the last time in terms of the granular for the rest of this growing season. Thanks for hanging out with me today in my raised bed garden. I hope one of your takeaways from today's video will be that even though it's in the first couple of days of August, if you garden in a zone like I do, it's important to realize, gosh, we've got about 10 weeks of growing left easily. And so it is not too late to be planting things that you can harvest in the fall, like my lettuce and spinach and carrots. I didn't mention that actually I put in green onion or scallion seed all around my dahlias. And of course, I think I showed you I planted some cilantro. So it is not too late to get some things in the garden that you're going to still enjoy this season. And of course, you got to see me give my tomatoes one last dose of granular fertilizer. It'll be my last time to fertilize them for the season. So anyhow, all that's left for me to do is to water in my tomato plants where I scratched in that fertilizer, and hope that it helps move them along a little bit more in these last 10 weeks of the growing season. So until next time, I wish everybody happy gardening.